All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining Dwayne and I tonight for the Sovereignty and Survival class. This is going to be a pretty easygoing class. Originally, I was going to go all out, make these documents, get all this material together for you guys, but it is a free class and I didn't want to put that much pressure on myself. But just know that if we really like this class and it's something you all want us to build on, we're definitely not opposed to creating something like that. But we would just need an equal energy exchange for that much effort. But so make sure that you've got a pen and paper, way to take notes, ask any questions that come to mind. Um, Again, we're just kind of free flowing with it. It will be recorded, so you can find it on the YouTube channel, Community Nourishment. You can also find some information on how to donate to Dwayne and I if you would like to. Dwayne does a lot of activism for the intactivists around the United States. A lot of you already know Community Nourishment and the work that I do. So if you do want to donate, it will go towards a good cause. And I want to talk to you a little bit about, okay, what is sovereignty, right? And my definition, what I believe sovereignty to be is being 100% responsible for yourself, being able to trust yourself and being able to rely on yourself. So being liberated as opposed to dependent. And the idea of this class tonight is to really stop and think and ask yourself if these systems, whether it be the food system, but mostly the food system, right? The water system, if any of these systems were to stop working, you did not have their support tomorrow, would you be able to survive? If you were not able to go to the grocery store and get food, if you couldn't get Amazon delivered to your front door, would you be able to survive? And this isn't to create a sense of fear. I'm hoping it creates the opposite sensation of empowerment. Like, okay, I might not have all the answers, I might not have it all together, but I know I've got enough things where I'll be all right until I can figure some stuff out. Let's see.
And I like you talked about the empowerment aspect of it because let's not create fear within ourselves because we already know any of this could possibly happen already. But the empowerment in yourself, it it lessens your own anxiety. So I and the best thing you probably and one of the best things you can do is go with it's for foraging with friends. And it's like because I've gone with foraging for friends, I can walk through the forest and I'm like, oh, I can eat that and I can eat that. There's only a few things that I can eat, but at least I can go, I'm not going to starve to death. And I think it's important that we all understand that the limited animal resources and limited wild animal resources are going to be quickly used up. So let's not depend on that. Um, and when we invest in our own survival, and it's like for me, and it's like I just bought $500 worth of canned tuna and canned sardines and got them to the house. So that's my little piece right now. And a friend of mine actually gave me a bunch of freeze dried stuff, so I'm lucky for that. So
Yeah, I love that. And I'm glad that you mentioned the Foraging for Friends. We actually have Kelly Woodhouse here with us today, which is super exciting. And when I started Foraging for Friends, my passion behind it was, okay, if we didn't have access to the grocery store, and I used to pose this question to people, what would you do? And they would say things like, well, I'd go fish. And I'd say,
nah,
okay, you and about everybody else, and you're
yes,
very likely to get robbed for your fish on the way back. And
exactly.
again, it's not to scare you. This is just reality. If things were to happen, it doesn't have to just be a natural disaster. But I mean, hurricanes, floods, power outages, government shutdowns, like anything. We just never know. And the more that you have at home, if you have a plan, you've got some things to fall back on, the more likely your chances of survival
And skills.
and skills. So that's also what we're going to talk about tonight because maybe you don't have anything that you might find valuable right now, but hopefully through this conversation tonight, you'll be able to think of some things. Something else that I would like, or maybe you'll be able to see that things that you do have will be valuable, skills, trades, what can you trade? Um, what else?
What was Kelly saying? He just harvested something.
Let me look. It's in the chat. I just harvested and added a bunch of wild spiderwort. pellitory and horse-mint to my dinner, eat something wild every day. That's
Mm.
also really good for your immune system. And something I took note of here, and I want to make sure that I say it properly. Yeah, take care of your body now so it can be strong when you really need it to be. So that alone is a great way to prepare for anything. One of my favorite things is I don't have to get ready because I stay ready. I keep
Yeah.
my body strong. And
Thank you so much for mentioning that. And please, when you mentioned sovereignty at the beginning of this, and its sovereignty is is whole in mind and whole in body and whole in spirit. So, and when you say that, and it's like to take care of your own body, and if to get your own self as healthy as possible. So, first thing to do is cut out the seed oils.
yeah, the seed oils, the soda, things like that.
Yes.
And and that's like if all you've got is your body,
Yes.
you want it to be strong.
Okay, so I've seen people, and it's like I've seen extremely yesterday even this extremely unhealthy, extremely overweight man gets out of a very expensive Porsche. But the most expensive vehicle we could ever have is this one,
The most valuable
the most
vehicle.
valuable one for sure.
Yep. Yeah, and
So,
that's a great point. So I'm hoping too, like everybody who joins this and anybody who's watching the recording, and just start to plant some seeds of like
mhm,
what's really important, your mind, your body, and your spirit. And if all you had was this vessel, but you have two hands that can work, you've got a mind that can think, you've got legs that can move, that's worth something. And even if
absolutely.
maybe you don't have anything to offer right now, but somebody else does, and they need help building, they need help moving things, like having a strong, vital body can ensure your survival.
Yeah, certainly. And it's if you have to make your own food, if you have to chop your own wood, yeah, you're going to need a body that can do those things.
And I'd
And
also like I said, we're going to see how it goes tonight and how everybody feels, but some other things that I think would take a lot of community effort, but would be valuable is for us to have, again, just that community effort. So if we all live in a close radius and we know, okay, Cam's got food and medicine, you've got weapons, or we need somewhere to store the medicine. A lot of these people that I have learned from, they teach where communities get together and there's a central point where they store food, where they store things. I
mm,
would like to have where we all have like those walkie-talkies, or if you ever needed them.
mm. The community, it's that is something that is something I am severely lacking in, because the community aspect, because it's like no one is going to survive alone. And that's one of the reasons why we have such anxiety when we get um ostracized by the tribe, because it is in our DNA. If you got kicked out of the tribe, that was death.
You're
Yeah.
basically dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, we're planting seeds right now. If anybody's interested in doing that stuff, whether you're local to this area or if you're somewhere else, I know we've got a few people in here that aren't in Florida.
Mm.
It's worth considering. So what other important things? So a big part of this class that I want you all to leave with is an idea of like, okay, a grab and go bag. At the
Yes.
very least, getting yourself a go bag, something that will give you 72 hours worth of supplies, should you need it, and a basic first aid kit. But let's see. Dwayne, you had really piqued my interest, when you had mentioned like a lot of this is just common sense stuff for you.
Mhm.
Do you want to build on that a little
Well,
bit?
so the 72-hour bag, and it's like I'm glad we're starting here, because one of the most basic things you can possibly think of for your 72-hour bag is shoes.
Ah,
If you are if you're a day away, if you're a day walk away, which is super easy, you could drive 6 hours in your car and something happens and you have to walk home. Can you walk home? That's your 72-hour bag. Shoes. It do not, please take this from my heart, is don't leave your house without a good pair of shoes that you can get home with, and your 72-hour bag, and what's in that 72-hour bag. And really, it's 72 hours is not much. It's like, 3 cans of tuna with a pop top, or you should have a can opener in case you find other food, and then and 3 power bar things or protein bars. And I mean that's going to get you home for the 72 hours, but you're going to need water filtration. Water is number one. especially for me. And then how you're going to disinfect that water. So this is a super basic, the most basic 72-hour bag is you're going to have some canned food that you're going to want to rotate once a year, um, some way to get water, some way to filter that water, and some to carry water in. It's that basic. So you're going to need, and the lighter. And and if there's the number one trade item for shit hits the fan scenario is going to be a lighter. A Bic lighter is going to be
Yeah.
it's going to be so valuable you can't understand it in this moment. But
Or even I really like the fire starter sticks. You
yes,
can get some that are waterproof.
yeah, the
Because like your
Fura
big lighter
rods.
could get wet and then you need to either let it dry out or find fire to get it reignited. Whereas those sticks,
Well,
like,
and I do want to I want to apologize. I didn't realize I was going to be in Boston this today. But just this I was going to have a show and tell. And I actually had fire starter bundles at the house and I vacuum packed them so I could put them in my go bag. And I was going to show you guys. And it's like just super basic. You go out in the trees and you find think about this. If you want to light a fire with a match, you need sticks the size of a match. So if you want to light a fire with striking from a ferrous rod, then you're going to need even finer material. So yeah, I vacuum packed those to put in my bag, and I was going to show you guys. So that was one of the things to have in your bag, and it's like a fire starter. It's dry, it's vacuum packed. If I needed to start a fire with a striker, I can do it.
I
It pretty
also
much.
wanted to show you guys as far as water goes, because okay, most important things that we need, right? Water, food, and shelter. So that's what you want to think of. Okay, no matter what, can you have water? I got this little thing of aqua tabs right here. Okay, if you can see that. And you
Yep.
can literally just like Google aqua tabs and it's these tablets and it comes with instructions on them of okay, maybe you found some water, maybe it's not the cleanest water. Maybe you've had buckets out in your yard collecting water or like I have a rain barrel. Maybe I don't want to use the few matches or sticks that I have to start a fire, but I have this water that I can drink. Boom, I can drop a couple of these tablets in there to cleanse the water. And I can't remember the price off the top of my head, but it was very reasonable. So reasonable that I'm going to get a couple more just to have them because again, too, this could be a good trade item. So it's like, okay, what
Mhm.
do you have for yourself? And what do you have to trade should somebody else have something that you want or need and don't
Mhm.
have? Another thing that I highly, highly recommend everybody get is the water straws. And you don't want to cheap out on the water straws. I paid, I want to say about $80 for a pack of five. Still not that bad. And you get like 1,000 gallons out of it or something ridiculous like that. And you can stick it straight into a puddle if you
You
wanted to and
you
drink out of the
can
puddle.
you can, but they will clog quickly. So let's be clear about this. It will do it, but you're not going to draw 1,000 gallons of mud water out of it. So it's if you can have some clothing, some shirts or whatever, or sand, or run that water through a sand filter and some cloth to get the water as clean as possible before you use that straw. And
I
then
love it.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
So I was like, I can't
will
wait.
it work? Yes. How long will it work?
That's a good point. That is. And that's again like why these conversations are so important. And I want everybody that's on here to know like if you have something to contribute, let us know. Drop
Yep.
a comment saying that you'd like to speak just so everybody's not talking at once. And then share what ideas do you have? What's something that you absolutely think
Mhm.
is a must have in your go bag?
Mhm.
I made a
Well,
list of some things that I want to share.
go ahead. Let's hear 'em.
So for the go bag, life straws, the water cleansing tablets. I'm going to speak slow so you guys can take notes if you want to. Flashlights. Dwayne taught us in our last Q&A, and I love this and I will carry it with me for the rest of my life. One is none and two is one. And what he meant by that was if you have one flashlight, you basically have no flashlight because if that flashlight breaks, and the odds of it breaking are pretty high in these type of situations, then you have no flashlights. But if you have two flashlights, then you know you've got at least one flashlight. Batteries. The more batteries that you can have, the better. A bush knife. And I would like Kelly, if you have a good recommendation on where people can get bush knives, or you too, Dwayne, let us know because I was looking and I need to go like to some local knife shops or something because I don't feel like it's something I want to just order online unless you know of a good company.
Mm. Well,
Um, shelf.
well, that's the one thing I wanted to show, and I won't be able to do it for a couple of till I get home on Sunday, but I'll put some links or in the comments for knives available. Yeah, the Mora knife Kelly's invention mentioning right now. It's a very inexpensive knife that is on Amazon. Not it's not super. It's not a cheap knife. It's an inexpensive, good bush knife, and
Okay.
that's important. The Mora
So
and
Mora knife, Mora for the
yeah.
people watching the recording.
And Amy just mentioned, and I wanted to chime in that about the using the coffee filters for filtering the water. Thank you, Amy. And Amy, I will be vacuum packing some coffee filters and putting them in my go bag for
That is
sure.
a great idea, the coffee filters. And I like the idea of vacuum sealing everything too. And I want to
Yeah.
I'll touch on it more, but everybody in here that's local, like I've got a freeze dryer now and I'm going to start renting it out to people who want to freeze dry their food. And when I say renting out, basically you prepare the food, I do it, you let me keep 2 out of the 6 trays. I also have a vacuum sealer and I'm pretty passionate about making sure everybody has access to these things to help them. So if getting your stash, your supply together, is something you're serious about, I'm serious with you. Um, Kelly also said beeswax candles are good to stock. I really
There
like
you
that.
go.
They'll burn for a long time.
Yep.
You can also use that as medicine too, like if you got a pretty gnarly cut or something.
Hmm. Well, and
And
that goes back to the how we started this conversation about the if you're going to have precious metal to have silver because it has antibiotic properties. So we
mhm.
can use that on the, but if you're gonna, I mean, if you have a lot of disposable income and you want to invest in metal, that's one thing, but that's not the conversation we're having here.
No,
Here.
one thing too that I was telling Dwayne, I bought a 5 gallon bucket of sea salt, and salt is great for so many things. You can clean wounds with salt. You can make sure you're getting your electrolytes with salt. You can preserve meats and foods with salt. You can trade salt. There's a lot of things that you can do with salt. I
Yep.
do recommend make sure that it's the sea salt. Not don't waste your money on the iodized, lifeless salt. I'm sure it has some purposes actually. But not life-giving. Let's see. Daniela said, I love the Skinner knife from Benchmade and Olight for flashlights. Tiny keychain flashlights are super bright. Crisco candles also last super long and are cheap to make. I
Mm.
like that. And something Dwayne had mentioned before and at the beginning before everyone joined that, and to remember too, okay, worst case scenario, everything's shutting down. People are going crazy. People are capable of crazy things when things get intense like this. When you're in the dark, you want to be very mindful of your flashlight use. You want to think, okay, am I going to give my position away?
Thank you.
Yep, things like that's very important to think about.
And going back to the salt idea is like, go ahead and share what we were talking about earlier about where the term salary came from.
Yeah, so the term salary came from they used to pay the Roman soldiers in salt for their work, and that's how we got the word salary, paying people with salt. That's how valuable it is.
That's right. That's how valuable salt is because of all of the uses you can have for it, which is the storing meat or just for yourself. The human body does not function without salt.
We have to have it.
Yeah.
Have to have it. And then
Now, yeah.
go
Can
ahead.
you talk about you? And I know we have some comments to get back to, and we'll get to you guys. Can you talk about the we know we don't want iodized salt, but iodine is very important for our bodies. And can you speak about, and we can disinfect our water with it. So if we can have some iodine in our go bag or at the house, especially, for sure. And Kelly just mentioned about boiling seawater to get water, which is good, but that's a lot of fuel. that's a lot of chopping wood to make the water. So that's a lot of work. So just be mindful of how much energy, and that could be your physical energy or the heat energy that it takes to boil that water. And there are ways to distill the water, and we would have to I'd have to give you some kind of picture in the
Well,
in the
I like
comments.
Kelly's suggestion of just doing a salt making class sometime. Like, might as well.
Yep.
We have the resources right now, then we can get an actual assessment of what it takes to do that.
I would love to hear Kelly's insight on the salt class, because it's like I can't even think in my mind, how am I going to make a class around salt?
Oh, yeah, Kelly. Kelly's got it. I know it. He wouldn't have suggested it otherwise. Let's do it,
Right, I
Kelly.
got
We'll
know.
make that happen.
Yeah.
And let's see. Daniela said oregano oil can kill an infection too. A small bottle goes a long way. And so that brings me back to so oregano oil, that's great. And it's great to have in your go bag, but it is perishable. And a lot of things in your go bag might be perishable. And I made a note of it, like, okay, or even portable chargers. So getting your go bag together and then having an alarm or a note up where every 3 to 6 months you check on your go bag. If you have portable chargers in there, but every 6 months, it wouldn't hurt to take them out and make sure that they're still, because they do lose charge over time. Or oregano oil. Think that's fantastic to have in there. Just make sure, and a lot of different oils and salves I have a list of that to touch on too. Some of these things, if they're not tinctures, they're perishable. So it's important to check it, rotate it, things like that. And having oregano oil in your bag is brilliant.
Mm.
Or even like, having a garden outside, even if it's a potted garden. You can have potted gardens on balconies or porches in apartment buildings. Like
And and
oregano's.
and we don't have to spend a bunch of money on these go bags. And it's like, I just got a really nice bag, a backpack from the thrift store. So you can go to the thrift store and you can get a bag to make your go bag with, and you
Look
can
at mine.
even.
It's a duffel
Yep.
bag from the thrift store.
Yep.
Yep.
If that's
Yep.
your go bag, you're
That's
gonna
my
carry
go
it. What does it have, like a messenger bag strap to carry it?
Yeah, yes, it does. And I do have one in the truck as well.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but so, like you said, you don't have to spend a lot of money on everything for the bag, but there are going to be some things that you like. I recommend not cheaping out on the life straws
Yeah, don't
or
cheap
the
out with that.
tourniquets. You want to have a good tourniquet. And that's
Mm.
more in the first aid thing, bag that you'll have. But it's good to have a tourniquet because if somebody gets, an artery cut open or there's an accident, you want a good, reliable tourniquet to help close that artery off, keep their blood them from losing too much blood. Cheap tourniquets can snap, they won't tighten all the way. So there's some things that absolutely can save some money on, other things not so much.
Mm.
Amy said, what do you think of Celtic sea salt? It's fantastic. Yep. I'm excited to learn how to make sea salt. That's going to be a fun class.
Okay.
What
Yeah,
else?
me
We go
too.
back.
I want in on that.
Yes. All right. So in the go bag, we've got the life straws, the water cleansing tablets, a couple of flashlights, batteries, the bush knife, shelf stable foods. Like Dwayne was saying, he just spent a lot of money on canned tuna and sardines, and these are shelf stable foods that will provide a lot of nutrients. And now, I do think we need to explore some ideas for people who don't like to eat meat or animals, while also recognizing that in times like this, like adapt or die. But you can have rice and beans, but again, rice and beans, you've got to have water, you've got to have energy to prepare them. Uh, Kelly, if you have any suggestions on, or even you, Dwayne, on like shelf stable, nutrient dense food that isn't animal products.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the rice. So it's like, I used to live on a sailboat, and I'll never do that again. But one of the guys was sailing, and he was sailing in the ocean, and he put the rice in the pan, and he forgot about it. And it was like a day and a half later. Well, you could eat it. He didn't even have to cook it.
Oh, so just okay, because it
It
absorbed.
sat long enough and absorbed the water good enough that he didn't even have to cook it.
That's good to
Seed
know.
sprouting, yes. Oh, that's funny. It's funny you mentioned the seed, Kelly, because I just put uh, a pack of a bundle of seeds, like, different variety of seeds in my main go bag. Not like not the 72-hour bag, but the go bag. Yeah.
Yeah, and like the 72 hours is just like a general rule of thumb. Folks like
Hmm.
myself and Dwayne and probably Kelly and probably a few of you on here, like we're pretty prepared.
Hmm.
But so the shelf stable foods, and again, I'm gonna throw it out there. I bought a freeze dryer, you guys, and I'm going in, and now I've got a significant amount of meats that can be stored for over 20 years now, vegetables, fruits. What else did I do? I did some chili, applesauce, cookies. Like I've already got my first box down. I'm working on the next. So if anybody here locally wants to get your food stores up, I will help you do that. But you can also order freeze-dried packaged foods. Um, I like to have more control over the food personally, but nuts are a really good one. You can get a lot of nuts and store those. Dwayne had mentioned earlier, like the high calorie bars. A compact first aid kit. You can't have too much first aid in situations like this. So maybe you've got your big first aid bit bag, and then you've got your compact first aid kit that goes into your grab and go bag. Portable chargers. And again, those are the things where every 6 months or so, go through your bag, make sure your chargers are nice and charged up. Waterproof pouch for important documents, something that's waterproof that you can put important things in.
Yeah, yes. Even yes, having Ziploc bags, empty Ziploc bags in your go bag. So here's water storage for one if I need it. And then
Oh, yeah.
keeping your papers dry. And you had mentioned beans, rice and beans. Beans are actually really good because they're light. They're super light. They're kind of bulky, but it's a lot of calories for the weight because of dried beans that don't weigh much of anything. A canned bean now, that's like the cans are heavy. That's the problem.
Right.
That's the
And
problem with anything in
water
a
in
can.
them.
Yeah. But so
Valentina said the nuts would probably be best if you get them in the shell because they'll last longer. I like that.
oh yeah. Yes. Yeah, because if it's a pieces of nut, yeah, they go stale real quick. It's like
Yeah.
and speaking of that, whenever I buy nuts and seeds, when I get them home, they go in the freezer. Nuts and seeds are in the refrigerator, one of the two. If I
Refrigerator or freezer or both.
well, if it's long term, I throw it in the freezer. But once I open it, then it's in the fridge. As I'm the one I'm using right at the time. That's in the fridge.
Okay.
Um, and speaking of food storage, and it's like, wait a minute. I mean, I've been buying chia seeds as needed, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm gonna start buying extra bags of chia seeds. That's
Hmm.
some really good fuel to have at the house.
I've been buying extra coffee beans. So I
Coffee,
always have like
yes.
two extra bags, and when my bag's out, I'll grab from the other one, order two more.
Yep.
That's also a great trade item.
Well,
Coffee
so
beans.
talking about the coffee beans, then if you also have dried milk too. So
Okay.
if you
Hmm.
if you have dried milk and coffee, it even in the worst case scenario, it's a feeling of good. It feels
That's why I did
good.
the cookies and applesauce. So that way, if everybody's freaking out, I can walk around and pass out these freeze-dried cookies. Uh,
Oh,
because
yeah.
that's something to think about. And when we get to the herbal part, I'm going to dive in a little bit
Oh,
more on
dried coconut milk powder. I didn't know we could get that, Kelly.
Oh, I
Make
could make that. Yes.
Yeah, maybe you can put a link in for us for Kelly if you put a link in the comments.
Yeah, and he said also to check out your natural food stores. I'm also the next thing I'm going to be making are instant juices. So I'm going to be juicing things, freeze drying them, and it condenses them down into this very concentrated powder.
Oh,
And then you take
yeah.
like a teaspoon to a quart of water, and you've got all those nutrients, but yet you can
Yes.
carry them around like they're nothing. I'm gonna do freeze-dried smoothies. Things so also too for people who are interested, like let me know what you would want because I can do it. This thing stays running. Um, yeah, and like Kelly said, like check out your natural food stores around you because then you can stock on in bulk on the nuts and the rice and the beans and things like
Hmm.
that. What else? Emergency blanket, and if you have kids or a family, have one, a couple in there, ponchos. One of those
Tarp.
yep, tarps. I'm big on trash bags too, like those big, strong black trash bags. You can
Yep.
use them for so many things. You can cut them, you can tie with them, you can use them as shelter, you can use them as a poncho, you can use them to waterproof stuff. I really like I keep them in the truck, I keep them in everything. One of those multi-tools. I wish I had mine to show you. I should find that. Extra toothbrushes and toothpaste.
Rope. Kelly just said rope or paracord. Yeah, for sure.
Yes, you can never have
Yep.
too much rope. If you're ever at a thrift store and they've got rope and stuff for cheap, grab it. Um, what else?
You want to think about weight too, because we can go on and on and on about this list, but the bag is getting heavier as we talk.
Well, and things like, you know what I mean? The blankets, the ponchos, the trash bags, these things don't weigh that much. And you can do so many things with
Oh, thank you, Danielle. It's like, don't forget floss, dental floss.
them.
Yes.
Yep.
Not so
So,
dental floss goes a long way, and it's like you can use that as a sutures if need be as
oh
well.
yeah, and a weapon.
Eh,
Uh,
Yeah.
Local map. I kind of liked that, like a local map of your area and a whistle, because you never know.
Hmm.
Um, Fire starter. And then Dwayne added this to the list with me when we got on was liquid minerals, some sort of so you can squirt that into your water. You cleanse the water, and then you have something if you don't have salt or
Right,
you don't want
especially if
to.
you distilled that water, like
Yep.
Kelly was saying, you'd need to remineralize it.
Yep. And you don't, maybe you don't want to put a big old bag of salt in your go bag. So having a little thing of some minerals, some concentrated minerals that you can squirt in there, worth it. Kelly said paracord is paradored. I'm thinking you meant paracord.
Yeah.
Um, is small, light, and holds 550 pounds. I love that. I'm gonna add that to my list. Paracord. All right.
Well, I mean, while we're talking about cordage, and it's like a needle and thread, because it's
A little
the
sewing
clothes
kit.
do you have, the clothes that you have are the only clothes that you have.
I'm gonna
So
add
if
that.
something you button pops or something tears and you need to stitch that, stitch in time stay saves nine. Yeah. So
Yeah, and those little sewing kits are
yep.
cheap, they're light. I love that idea. And you guys keep them coming. I mean, this is what we're doing this for, is to initiate these conversations and get ideas and share
Because
them.
we all have a piece of the puzzle here. We all have
We
a piece of the
do.
puzzle, and none of us have the whole answer either.
And we
But
will need each other if things like this were to happen. We will need each other. I
mhm.
bought because I'm one of the ones kind of going all out a little crazy. I bought one of those CB radios, and you like
Oh,
get a car battery and hook it up to the car battery, and then I'll be able to communicate and see where other people are. Here, I'll show you. Do I hold it?
yeah.
Yep. And I love it. And
Oh,
I will be investing in the walkie-talkies. Just because also too, okay, so we're here. Somebody has to go out to look for
have you got
help
an
or to
antenna for
look
that
for.
thing?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay,
Yep.
go ahead.
Somebody gifted it to me. I didn't
Okay.
even know I needed it. Let's see. So before we move on to first aid kit, just a basic first aid kit, does anybody have any more suggestions for what you could have in like, oh shit, I gotta go. Let me grab this bag and go.
Well, Kelly just put the forging books.
Oh, yep. So foraging plant ID books, it's really good to have those anyway on
Mm-hmm.
your area. Find out what zone you're in. And, you could even just start while you have access to the internet, use it. It's a good tool. Field guides. Yep. All right. Let's move into the first aid. I love you, Valentina. I'm very happy you're here. Wish I could hug you through this screen.
Valentina, hello.
And I almost want you to just pop on and say hello real quick. Hola. Let's see. All right, so the first aid kit, just your basic first aid kit, adhesive bandages. And honestly, I mean, you don't have to go all out on these. Just make sure they're adhesive and get different sizes. And they make variety packs with all different sizes. Adhesive bandages, gloves. Gloves are really important to have, even if it's just a few pairs rolled up and stuck in there. Rubbing alcohol and iodine, like he was saying earlier, iodine is such a good cleanser. It's an antifungal. I think it's antibacterial. It's good to have it on hand, and the rubbing alcohol, and it'll last a long time.
I wonder,
God,
I
pat,
wonder,
go
I
ahead.
wonder just to throw it out there, should we replace the rubbing alcohol with like 190 proof drinking alcohol and then it's multi-purpose? Is that an option?
I think so. I mean, one, you could trade it.
Yeah,
Worst case
yeah.
scenario. I like that. I like that idea a lot.
Okay.
So rubbing
All right.
alcohol or high proof vodka, Everclear, grain alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Gauze pads and medical tape, elastic bandage. Um, Marcos just cut his foot really bad on Tuesday on some oyster beds, and I think I'll make a video later, but you can also like YouTube, you guys, spend the time to YouTube videos on how to wrap bandages, because then also you don't want to waste this material. So if you only have a certain amount, and you want to know how to do it and do it properly. And one of the most important things too, when you are wrapping a wound, haste makes waste. And remember that with a lot of things, because there can be a lot going on around you. Everybody, the tensions are high, people are freaking out, but haste makes waste. So you want to be able to bring your energy in, focus on the task at hand. And also when wrapping bandages, like you might not know if you're going to see this person again. Maybe they're not somebody that you know, and maybe you're the last person they're going to see in a long time that can actually bandage them up. So you want to say, all right, how long can this bandage last on this person? Where is it? Is it on their foot? Is it on their hand? Is it somewhere that they're going to be using a lot? So I really, really encourage everybody to watch YouTube videos on how to bandage people, and then practice on yourself or a friend or your loved one while you have the time and resources to do so.
These are those skills we talked about in the beginning.
Yep,
Yep.
yep,
And it's a
exactly.
skill. It's a skill like anything else. And it's like, I mean, I wouldn't know how to bandage someone else. So that's a great idea to start to look at some of those videos. Um,
YouTube is an incredible resource.
YouTube is the most amazing resource I've ever.
I love it
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
Trauma shears, and I think I have a pair in here. I do. So these shears, okay, so somebody has been really
Oh,
hurt and you got to cut their clothes off of them, and there's a lot going on. It has this thing that will protect you from cutting their skin, and you can use that to put it up against them. And then this can cut through clothes, all sorts of things. So a pair of trauma shears, just in case. You never know. Um, what else? An emergency contact card, and have it laminated or put it in a Ziploc bag, something waterproof. So that way too, I mean, it's just there. It's got your name on it, who you are, where you live, who your contact information is. What else? Activated charcoal capsules. Really great if you get exposed. Let's say there's a flood and the sewage system is now mixed into the water in the streets, or you're surrounded. You never know. Charcoal is really good to help combat poison, get toxins out of your body. You can also use it externally for wounds and infections. Tweezers and
oh
different
yeah.
types of tweezers too. You can get packs with different kinds and they come in handy.
I like the
Save,
tweezers.
yeah.
I like the tweezers. Now, along with the tweezers, you're going to need some like reading glasses, depending on what
Magnifying glass wouldn't
I,
hurt to
I
have in
have
there.
actually have a 5X pair of reading glasses that I found in a thrift store, and it's like, what the hell am I ever going to do with those? I put them in my first aid kit for the
Brilliant.
tweezers. Yep. So and then along with that is now the light again. So a headlamp where you can
Oh,
actually point it at what you're working on.
I'm gonna
Um,
add that on here.
yeah, it's not just a flashlight. It's not only a flashlight, but it's a working tool when it's a headlamp. And
You guys,
you're definitely gonna want rechargeable on that one. Um,
I love that. Yep. Rechargeable or even batteries, right? And get
yeah,
packs of batteries.
yeah.
Saline eye wash. So you can use that for wounds. You can use it if somebody gets something in their eyes. And say it's basically just salt water. So if you've stocked up on your salt, you could also just use that. What else? I've got antibacterial ointment. important to have in there. Adhesive steri strips. So they're I think we talked about this in the last class.
The
That's why
last one, yeah, it's like a suture, somewhat like a suture. And Amy just mentioned hemostats in case you need to clamp something temporarily or so, if we're talking wound care with dissolvable stitches, if you can, yeah, I guess if you can get them. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, I think I found somewhere, I can't remember it. I think it might have been a garage sale maybe, but I actually found packs of stitch. It's pre-made. You open the pack, it's got the needle in it, it's got the thread, quote unquote
Ready
thread,
to go.
ready to go. Yeah, that was
That's
cool.
I almost forgot duct tape.
Duct tape.
Yeah, for the go bag. I know
Yeah.
it's a little heavy, but like, man.
Okay. Just throwing this out there. That duct tape might be the most valuable thing you have, and a Ziploc bag is cost 25 cents. Put the duct tape in a Ziploc bag.
Okay.
Honestly, get yourself like, and I'm working on this. I'm getting a box of the quart Ziploc bags, and you can also separate things. So instead of like, if you were to see my go bag right now, it's messy, it's chaos, and I've got to fix that. You want things to be organized so that way, if you're in a hectic situation, you can go through. Oh, here's the first aid bag. Oh, here's the bandages. Oh, here's the stitches. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And Ziploc bags are great as dividers in your bags.
What was Kelly talking about duct tape?
He said you can wrap some duct tape around a water bottle to save space.
Oh, I've seen that. Yep.
I don't get it.
Well, yeah. So you instead of having the roll of duct tape, you have your water bottle, and you put 10 or 20 wraps around the water bottle. Well, now you have duct tape
Oh.
on your water bottle.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
Or do
Okay.
like do 2 rows of duct tape on your water bottle. Now we don't have to carry a separate roll of duct tape. It's already on our water bottle.
That's brilliant. I
Yeah.
love that. I just wanted to my mom used to have this saying. She said, if you can't duck it, then fuck it. And but really, like that's just how like you could do so much with duct tape. I remember we had
Mhm.
a dog who got something broken on his face and it cut him really, really bad. And my stepdad duct taped the dog's entire face and not the nose and the mouth. It could still breathe and drink water, but he couldn't see all day. He was just running into the fence all day. But I swear to you, 24 hours later, we cut the duct tape off and it had basically like glued itself. The cut did. It was awesome. So maybe you don't have, maybe you're out of bandages or all of these things and you cut yourself really bad. You can duct tape it at least until you get more help.
Mhm.
It's an incredible resource.
That's so fun.
The adhesive steri strips, yep. And like Daniela said, dissolvable. So the adhesive steri strips are kind of like stitches, right, Dwayne? I wrote them down
It,
because you mentioned them last time.
yeah, it kind of looks like it's got a really it's a bandage. It's really thin, and then it widens out at the ends. So it's like you got 2 tabs that glue down, but it's very thin going across the cut, so the cut can stay dry and breathe instead of just taping over the whole cut.
Okay.
And then the steri strips you can actually leave while you're changing the bandages. So those go on first. So it's like I said, they're really thin in the middle, and then they get like tabs on the end, and they're only like this, they're only like that long, a finger long or something.
It's something to keep in mind, like if you or somebody in your family has an allergy to like the adhesive bandages or
The
what's
latex.
the latex, thank
Yeah.
you. These are things you want to think about, and yep, they cost a little extra, but it's worth it having. So like I
Well,
bought a
especially
pack,
just helping someone else. You don't know if they're allergic or not.
yep, and like I bought a pack of cheap multicolored uh bandages, but then I did buy a couple packs of some decent, more expensive ones. But if somebody isn't allergic to things, then boom, it's no problem for me to whip out one of these cheap rolls and wrap them up with it. Let's see. I have like some chest seals for like chest wounds.
Whoa.
Yeah, I have 2 tourniquets. Here's one of my tourniquets, and my other one, actually, let me show you because this is
You started our conversation with tourniquets. Talk about that some more.
I love tourniquets. So
Why?
here, um, Just because, so I'll tell you why. So first, here is one still in the package, but this one is ready to go where all I have to do now is take off these rubber bands. And again, let's say somebody's arm got cut and they severed an artery. You have a very short amount of time to cut that blood off to prevent them from losing more blood. And that's where the tourniquets come in. Now, it's really only helpful for the limbs, the arms, and the legs. So I take those rubber bands off real quick. Now it's ready. Boom. I slide their arm or their leg into it. I tighten it. I'm not going to take it all apart, but I tighten it and then it's around. And then this right here, it hurts like a mug. I highly recommend that when you get one, you have somebody practice with you. And then you tighten this and you tighten it until it almost, you ask them, you don't want to put them in too much pain, but you do want to stop that artery from bleeding. And then that goes around and stays right there.
If it's gushing, you're going to know when it stops gushing.
Yep, exactly. And then boom, and they can keep the tourniquet for like 24 to 48 hours. I feel like they changed the time recently. Like you can keep it on there for a significant amount of time until you find them some really good medical care.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they last a while. And that's why I really I'm like, worst case scenario, somebody's leg gets cut off. You need to make sure that they don't bleed out. So you put the tourniquet around there and you just turn it and turn it and turn it. It restricts those vessels, prevents blood from flowing out. So again, I'm just going to get it ready to go like that there. And I'm going to put the bandages around it. And this is something I'd also think it would be fun to have. And I'll even buy the supplies through Community Nourishment, just a day where we all get together and practice bandaging each other, or using tourniquets. Cause you really, if you want to know how it feels. I had somebody do the tourniquet on my arm. It wasn't pleasant. It hurt. But if I was going to bleed out, I prefer to have that.
Well, okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I was thinking the paracord, but I see that's a wide strap, so it's not going to like cut into you.
Right.
Right. Okay. All right. I
Yep.
got you.
Yep. I bought a lot of stormproof matches. So these two, like if these get wet, you're okay. Stormproof matches. What else?
And there's a way to make fire starters. If again, YouTube, and it's like making a fire starter. Where I've seen it where you use matches and the beeswax that Kelly talked about earlier, and you actually make it's a little bundle that's wax coated, and you pull it apart, and it's like a flare of quickly a small flare in your hand for lighting fires.
Pine resin or tree resin, and especially if you're like already out there, you can collect these dryer lint
Yeah.
catches on fire fast.
Kelly just had a comment too.
As Kelly said, the Folk Farm near Gainesville offers wilderness first aid class a few times a year.
What's the name of it?
The Folk Farm, FOLC. Also, you guys, Sam Kaufman offers some really good online classes with videos. Also, Katya and Rin from Commonwealth Herbalism. I'm currently in their disaster relief course right now, and
Can you put some links to that in the comment later?
I will. Well, yeah, and I have Commonwealth Herbalism, disaster relief, Sam Kaufman, herbal first aid, and I'm actually hoping to go out to New Mexico and take his in-person class.
Wow.
Just because, yeah, he's they're real deal.
One thing I was thinking about, we were talking about the bush knife, the knife that you're going to carry or two, and you had mentioned a multi-tool. Now the only issue with multi-tools, some of them get real heavy. Some of those multi-tools are really heavy. So again, talking about the weight, because we've been 45 minutes of adding things to this bag, and this bag's getting bigger and heavier, and so we started out with a 72-hour bag conversation. So just remember that everything we've mentioned we've gone way past the 72-hour bag.
Yeah, and plus we're in the first aid kit now too.
Yeah.
And like I said, like folks like me, I want, that's also going to be like my trade stuff. So make a list of these things that we're talking about and then look through those lists and then start getting the things that you feel called to and get your bag together. See how it weighs, how it feels. You could still take what's too heavy and have it there somewhere in your home for if you need it. Yeah. So these are more from my end, just things that I but I'm one of those preppers, so I've just got all this stuff. I plan on not going anywhere and holding down the fort, but
Okay, let me
you
talk about
never know.
that.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I wanted to mention that they're in the prepper community that okay, you're prepared in your home. Let's say some of our other people are prepared in their home. When the shit hits the fan, it's like literally go outside of your house and kick in the front door and break the windows and have and now you've moved back into your other space in your house, but from the outside, your house looks like it's been looted.
Yep.
It's a technique, and it's like we're talking worst case scenario, people, but it's just something to keep in mind. If your house looks all pristine and pretty, well, someone might want us to check it out. But if your house
Yeah.
looks like it's already been looted, I'm gonna walk past it.
Yeah. Like, and that's what he means by that. Like, because if worst case scenario,
Or
people lose their minds, they go crazy. So you don't want to be the people out there with the statues in the yard and look like you have a bunch of money and a bunch of resources that they can come take.
right,
Like when I go, when I go to all these other countries, I love that I have a missing tooth. Like, I'm just like, I don't have money. There's something to that surviving in many different scenarios.
hmm
Let's see. So the headlamp. All right. So again, just write these things down and you think if you want just a 72-hour bag, all right, what are the light things that you need? And again, water, food, shelter. Those are the most important things for your 72-hour go bag. Shoes, like Dwayne said. Dwayne made a good point in the last class that you don't want to be out there in cotton. This is where you really do want polyester or these synthetic fibers because when cotton gets wet, you get cold to the bone. Cotton kills, I think you said it was.
Cotton kills, and I just told a friend of mine that today. Where it was today, when I'm in Boston, we're outside. It's 50 degrees, 48 degrees, and it's raining. And I was like, cotton kills. She's like, what do you mean? And I was like, if you get wet and cold with cotton on, it will kill you because it will suck the heat out of your body. And I even have experienced that. It was it was a while ago. I was laying on the ground with a cotton blanket and I was just getting cold and I was like, what's going on? And then I realized later because I was laying on a cotton, it was actually a what you call comforter, but it was cotton. And Kelly
Hmm.
just mentioned wool. Of course,
Yep.
wool is the ultimate. But
Now, is wool lightweight? I don't think I've had a
Danielle,
lot
we're
of wool.
neighbors. Hmm. Danielle says we're neighbors. She's central what?
Oh, he's just up there visiting right now. She's in central Massachusetts.
Oh,
I can't.
okay. Well, Danielle, yeah, I'm just visiting right now. I'm here for
She
the
is cool
weekend.
people, though, if you two could meet up. I love her very much. Dwayne is one of my very good friends. That would be cool.
Okay, yeah, I'm just
But
here for the
question
weekend.
about the wool, is it heavy?
No,
No? Okay, because I don't have any, so I'm just wondering. And when
no,
you
it's
say
not
wool, I
heavy,
always
but if
picture these old trench
you
coats.
can be soaking wet with wool and be warm. Just like today, I was in the rain. I had wool long johns on, and then I had synthetic fabric over that, but I was warm. I mean, I stayed warm pretty much. Um, I mean, I got cold eventually, but cotton kills. I know. You are like, oh, I don't want to wear synthetic fibers. I get it and I understand that, but it's like for me, it's like there is no cotton on my body as we speak, and I pretty much don't own any cotton, and I understand that I am getting the microplastics from that, but I live my life so clean that I'm willing to do that. I don't do artificial sweeteners. I don't do artificial colors don't go in this thing. They don't go in this thing. No artificial colors, no artificial sweeteners, and I avoid natural flavors as much as possible. If you go out to eat, you're going to get what you get. You know, I avoid seed oils. There's no certainly no seed oils in my life unless I go out to eat,
Hmm.
and then it's going to happen unless you find a really good restaurant.
And for
Um,
the people that joined late, what we talked about at the beginning is the most important thing you can do is start taking care of your body now.
yes,
You have a strong body, a strong immune system, that's going to take you a long way.
the most valuable vehicle you own and that you will ever own is this one. Is your own body. your own
Yep.
body. And we talked about having skills, and it's like you, no skills really matter if this doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. If your body doesn't work, you don't have a whole lot to offer.
Yep.
All right. Kelly said some is heavyweight, some is lightweight. Have both. I like that. Yeah, have both. All right. Now I want to talk about some herbs, some medicines, other than like the antibiotic ointments and iodine and things like that that you can have in your whether it's your go bag or your stash kit. When it comes to herbs, two of the things that I really like to focus on are nutrient dense herbs and herbs that help people to stay calm and relaxed. Because again, it's stressful. Cortisol's coursing through your system. Sometimes there's just a lot going on depending on where you are. So some of the nutrient dense ones, and you can have these for the minerals and the nutrients. Tinctures don't offer a whole lot there. So these would be better to have as like loose leaf to make teas or even capsules. But nettle leaf, oat straw, sea moss, alfalfa, comfrey leaf, red raspberry leaf, burdock, um there's another one that I can't
And
remember.
these are the comforting ones.
No, these are the nutrient dense ones.
Oh,
Yep. Chickweed. So I'll repeat that: nettle leaf, oat straw, sea moss, alfalfa, comfrey leaf, red raspberry leaf, burdock root, dandelion root, chickweed. These red clovers. Kelly had mentioned clovers at the beginning of the class. These are good loose leaf. And again, like if you buy these, or I'm gonna freeze dry them from my garden this year, which is gonna be fun, but buy them, vacuum seal them. They will last longer if you vacuum seal them, have them stored in a dark place. And then you've got these herbs that, okay, maybe you don't have the most nutrient dense food right now, but you can make a nettle and oat straw tea that's going to provide you with vitamins and minerals and hydration. And there are a lot of herbs. And just like Kelly had mentioned with his spiderwort and the plants that grow out the weeds, quote unquote, dandelion is classified as a weed when it's almost basically a superfood. So being able to identify weeds and herbs and plants in your surrounding area, like I'm learning the coastal plants right now. I found oxel yesterday, sea oxeye. That's what it was. And it's like a sea marigold. And you can taste the salts in it almost like all these coastal
well,
plants.
there you go. So there, if you could a salty plant, that's something to definitely keep in the back of your mind
Yep.
because when the time comes and you don't have salt, and if you can put that plant in your stew, your squirrel stew or whatever, your wild herbs in a stew, and you put that in there, and it's like you can actually have flavor now.
And I do recommend, like, okay, maybe your food rations are low, but you can harvest these plants. I like that you said stew, Dwayne, because you're going to extract more of the medicine and the minerals and nutrients from the plant and make it easier for your body to absorb it. So if you don't have a lot of food around or you need as much energy as possible, you want to conserve as much energy as possible. So by making that stew or that soup or that broth, you are basically kind of pre-digesting those nutrients and then you drink it and your intestinal tissue just absorbs those
Is,
nutrients.
is that why I live out of the crock pot mostly?
Man, it's soup season around here every day. Kelly said saltwort, sea light, glasswort, sea rocket, seaside edible plants loaded with minerals. Yes, and if you guys are around, we'll be posting our next foraging for friends soon, and it's just a
Wait a minute.
place.
Should we do a foraging for friends for on a coastal version so Kelly can show us these plants? How
Yep.
about that?
Yeah. Oh, we've done it. We've
Oh,
done
you
it.
have?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's time to do it again.
Okay.
It's been probably like a year. So, yep. And so find out what area are you in? What zone are you in? I hope y'all are taking notes tonight. But this recording will be put up. But what zone are you in? And then just start while you have access to this awesome resource that is the internet. Instead of scrolling social media, put it to good use and look things up. What zone am I in? What plants grow around here? What do they look like? Take screenshots or print out pictures and then go out into the woods and look. Go out into the woods anyways and take pictures of things and then do some research and see what are these? Can I eat them? Always triple check. I have like a triple check so you can use Google, an app, and a book, or a friend and a book and an app. Always double to triple check to make sure. But sovereignty means you are 100% responsible for your well-being. And knowing where you are and what resources you have around you, which I don't want this to end, Dwayne, without you giving us just a little brief on how to make water out of the at the beach. Um,
Oh, yeah.
yep,
So the making water at the beach, it really it's distilled water. Kelly mentioned distilling water in the beginning of this. So you're at the beach. You dig a hole. You dig a hole that's
a big
three
hole.
feet, a big hole. It doesn't have to be super deep, but a bigger round hole. And you cover it with clear plastic, right? And then you use the sand. Right now, we've sealed the edge of this big round hole, like 3 feet around. And now we've sealed the edge. We've put sand on top of the plastic. Now you've already put a cup down in the center of this hole, and you just drop a rock. Just drop a rock in the center of that plastic, and it's going to droop that plastic. Walk away. Come back 24 hours later. All that condensation is built up on the inside of that plastic, and it's now dripping down into that cup because you got the cup right underneath where that rock is. So that's one of the things I was going to put a picture of in the comments. I'm not going to be able to do it for a couple of days, but and then if you just like tap when you go to do it, just tap the clear plastic, and that it'll cause that water to drip down into your cup. Now it's not going to make a lot. You're going to want to make four or five of these holes covered in clear plastic. So that's something to have in your go bag. It's clear plastic, or if you can have clear big garbage bags. Now we have dual purpose. We can use it for that. We can use it to keep things dry, keep ourselves dry, and we can distill salt water without using energy, except for the energy to dig the hole. Now,
Yeah. No,
so
when
yeah.
I first saw a video of someone doing that like 10 years ago, I don't think it was I think it was a brown tarp that they used. Does it have
Okay,
to be clear?
okay,
I'm gonna
probably not.
experiment with this, I think. I'm right here on the beach. I should experiment with it. But that's
Right.
fascinating, you guys. So like
You're
for
probably right. It would work with black plastic. Okay, I get you. I get
yeah.
you.
So like
Okay.
where are you? What's your environment? Some of us were here on the beach. So okay, cool. That's cool to know that it's a lot of work and you need quite a few holes, but that is an option. So
It's
where are you?
water.
What are your closest water sources? Do you have
Again,
springs, ponds?
the top three, it's water, food, and shelter.
Yep.
And that shelter is the clothes on your body, hopefully not cotton, and a tarp and something to keep yourself dry, that garbage bag for a poncho, and yeah,
Yeah.
and shoes. Shoes, I'm gonna go back to shoes.
Good shoes.
Comfortable shoes.
Well, like
Comfortable
I think
shoes.
of like
Yeah.
my barefoot shoes, they're comfortable, but if they
Right.
were to get wet, then I'm walking around in wet shoes. So, I mean, I guess
Right.
I could put trash bags over them if it was raining and tie them.
Yeah. I mean, I have my barefoot shoes. They seem to be okay if they get wet, but I don't
Yeah.
have. Are you wearing cotton socks?
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna get some wool socks though. That's a good
I
idea.
I have I my socks are bamboo or synthetic, so
Kelly
I
did
don't.
say, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Kelly said anyone can feel free to check with him for edible plant identifications and to send clear pictures.
Okay.
So, Kelly, I don't know if you want to put your phone number in the comments here. People won't be able to see it on the. Oh, he did. Nice. Do you want me to speak it out loud for people who are watching the recording? He said, yeah. Okay. So you can text Kelly at 904-806-4364. Again, that's 904-806-4364. He's a
And
great
Kelly is the
resource.
most knowledgeable plant identifying person and mushrooms that I know of. So I don't even touch mushrooms. It's not the calorie return is not enough for the risk for me.
But Kelly knows his stuff. So that's
Yeah.
really kind of you, Kelly, to put your personal number out here for people to text you. That's great. And then again, what zone are you in? What water sources do you have around you? Now I want to jump back into the herbs really quick.
Hey guys, I love you. Thank
I
you
know
so
you
much
gotta
for having
go.
me. I have to duck out. and I will come back later. I will be watching this again, and then I'll watch the rest of it then. And I thank you so much for having me. And food or water, food, shelter, shoes,
Yep,
a
cotton
knife,
kills.
some way to light a fire.
Two is one and one is none.
Correct. Yes. Bye,
See you
guys.
soon, Dwayne. Bye.
All right.
All right, you guys, I want to go back into because we only have about 20 minutes left. So we talked about the nutrient dense herbs, and there are a lot of those. And like Kelly just made a nice list of some that you can find coastal. If any of you want to share of any nutrient dense plants that you know of that maybe grow in your region that I haven't mentioned, like plantain. Right? I didn't mention plantain, and plantain grows almost all over the place, different varieties of it, and it's loaded with minerals. Purslane. Purslane grows really well here. And purslane, my teachers taught me it's like nettles, but for dry people. So nettles is a really drying plant. So for people who have a dry constitution, nettles can make that constitution worse. But purslane gives you like the mineral content that nettles does while moistening you. So it's great for, yeah, Kelly, I can see your face. And what I like to do is like I'm growing it in my garden right now, and I'll take one out and I'll kind of break it up and cut it up and put it in my water bottles. And it gives the water like this kind of thick viscosity. Okra does too. If you haven't had okra water, oh my goodness, now it's thick, but it's hydrating. It's Marcos is so funny. But it's hydrating. So let's see. So if you guys have other plants that you can think of that would be good for nourishment, drop them in the comments. But now I want to talk about, okay, what are some tinctures? You can have these as tea or as tinctures. Remember, tinctures have a shelf life of like 20 to 30 years. They will sometimes like evaporate and go down, but they're still good. And you want to think, how can we help people to calm down, reduce the cortisol in their body, and relax a little bit? So one of my favorites is holy basil. Holy basil, holy basil, holy basil. I can't think of a single person that cannot benefit from holy basil unless they have a known allergy. It literally will reduce the cortisol in your body. It helps to support your hippocampus, the part of your brain that's really impacted by trauma. It also is the part of your brain that helps us to learn and memorize things. Holy basil is one of the best. Linden. Linden, my teachers call it a hug in a mug. I got that in part of my tea tonight. Linden just really helps to calm you down. All right, this is where we are. This is what's going on, but I feel okay in my body. Chamomile. Chamomile, which is also nourishing, works as a great relaxant, digestive relaxant. Now, chamomile tincture will be best. And even if you're not in a crisis situation, if you're going to work with chamomile, you need a lot of it. I'm talking like a tablespoon or two, even 2 tablespoons to a cup. Chamomile offers a lot of medicine, but you need a higher dose of it. And so you make somebody a cup of chamomile tea with 2 tablespoons in there, they are going to feel that. It's very relaxing. I've got Damiana in here. Actually, I have chamomile, linden, Damiana, nettle root. In here, Damiana helps to just relax the body, increase circulation. You know, when we get into fight or flight, kind of all of our body blood rushes to our core so we can move in that fight or flight. We want to relax all of that, let the blood and fluids go back to the peripherals. Skull cap. Um, I've never been one to respond to skull cap almost immediately, but a lot of people do, and it's another good one for muscle relaxation. And kava. Now, you want to be careful with kava because it is kind of hard on the liver, but in situations like this, if you have a good kava tincture, and you're really freaking out or just super stressed out or someone is having a panic attack, whatever the case, kava will calm them down. Kelly said Biden's Alba. Yep, passion flower. And again, passion flower is one of those ones that some people do respond to it pretty immediately. But for a lot of people, skullcap and passion flower are nervines. And what nervines are is when you drink them consistently over time, they strengthen the nervous system, which allows the nervous system to regulate itself better. But like I know with skullcap in large doses, it can work as a great pain reliever, but in large doses. But that consistency over time restructures and strengthens your nervous system. I love passion flower. Kelly said Biden's Alba. Um, does Biden's Alba grow nationwide, Kelly? Do you know, or like up the East Coast? Y- Yeah, yeah, so more like the East Coast. You guys might have probably seen it. It's got the little yellow flowers. Some people call it beggar's ticks, Spanish needle. It's a great plant, and it also it's antiviral. And a lot of antiviral herbs target the liver and help to reduce liver heat, which then goes hand in hand with calming down anxiety and nervousness. So if you're suggesting Biden's Alba for like calming people down, I'm actually super interested in the next. That makes sense to me. Daniela said St. John's wort. Yep, you just got to make sure that you or somebody else is not on pharmaceuticals when they take the St. John's wort internally. What else? Oh man, so I had that short list of herbs, but you guys keep them coming. Kelly was saying Biden's Alba for nutritive, but I'm so curious now. So yeah, Biden's Alba, you can eat it, you can saute it with your veggies, you can eat it raw. I am going to go into my garden the next 3 days in a row and make a tea out of it just to see how that helps my nervous system. Because I have found herbs that work really well on the liver help a lot with anxiety, mood disorders, depression, bipolar disorders. And now, something that I really think everybody should have in your go bag in your first aid kit is a cayenne pepper tincture. Somebody could be having a heart attack, and you can drop a full dropper of cayenne pepper tincture down their throat, and it can stop their heart attack. It's awesome. It also can help to like relax that tension. It's stimulating. Yeah, it wouldn't be my go-to for like relaxing tension, but you can. So a cayenne pepper tincture, strokes, heart attacks, 1 to 3 anxiety tinctures. And again, that could be your kava. If I were to have an anxiety tincture, something that I like, my liquid Zen formula has the blue vervain. Blue vervain is such a strong cooling bitter, and it brings you out of your head down into your body so quickly. And then it has the Damiana and the Meadowsweet to relax the muscles and tissues and get things flowing. So think, what are your favorite, like what's your go-to when you're feeling anxious or you need some support? Have a couple of those in your bag. In my bag, I have the Warrior of the Woods tincture, which is just a tincture of red clover, burdock, red roses, and yarrow. And these 4 herbs, I was in Colombia a few years ago, South America, and I got bit by I didn't even have time to see what the bug was. It hurt so bad, and I hit it off of my arm, and immediately my arm started swelling and burning. I was by myself on a mountain, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is it. This is how I go, man. I'm gonna die up here." But I had my Warrior of the Woods tincture again, those 4 simple herbs: burdock, red clover, red roses, and yarrow. And I put that tincture onto the bite, and I kept putting on there less than 5 minutes. The swelling and the burning was gone. And then I was taking a full dropper every like 5 to 10 minutes for an hour because I don't know what bit me. And I was fine. I did not die. Um, there's something, oh, yarrow. While we're talking about yarrow, I didn't put it here, but I want to say like you get yarrow leaf powder. And I like the leaf for the powder, but a lot of people will use the flowers too. I just like the leaf because when Kelly, I know you've grown yarrow, the leaf looks like a bandage. It's really cool. And then you can dehydrate it, grind it up, and if you cut yourself deep, you can pour that powder into your cut and it will stop the bleeding and help the wound to heal. So yarrow, you could, and you don't have to have it powdered. Let's just say you have the flowers. Maybe you don't even have the leaves. That's okay. You can still crush the flowers up as well as you can. Or I like to chew on things when I'm using them for wounds because my enzymes, like plantain, if you cut yourself, you chew on the leaves first before putting them onto the wound, and it helps your body to use it as medicine a little bit quicker. I want to make sure I'm not missing any comments. And then let's see. And a plantain tincture. Yup. I could talk about herbs all night long. Let me think. That's really about all I had prepared for tonight. Does anybody else want to chime in and add anything? Do we have any questions? Kelly, if you want to, it would be, I'm just so happy that you're here, and for contributing. So I don't know, you had mentioned some of the herbs that you have in your garden, like the Bidens and the spiderwort. Do you mind sharing just a couple more things that you have in your garden?
Well, for wild edible plants, there's all kinds of stuff popping out right now. Biden's is kind of just starting to come out. There's a lot of pellitory around right now. The spotted horse mint is popping out and will be everywhere soon. That's a nice edible herb that's also real good medicine for a lot of different things.
Upset stomachs, fevers.
Yeah, there's a lot of go-to cola, dollarweed, the the colt or pony's foot. Um, there's all kinds of wild edible greens coming out right now.
It's really worth it, you guys, to find foraging walks around you. If you're not here in St. Augustine, just Google or look for Facebook groups or social media groups or the Meetup app, or just go out into especially if you're alone, be safe going out. Make sure somebody knows where you are. I just had a strange experience in the woods a few weeks ago that kind of startled me, so we want to lead with that. But go spend time in nature. If you see a plant that you think looks cool, take some pictures of it. Like Kelly said, he put his number in here. We put it in said it out loud. Send him pictures. Say, hey man, what's this? And then use Google Lens and then get your book. We are surrounded by food and medicine. Ashley said, I have a question, Cam. Can you recommend a tincture to travel with or any other remedy to help with upset stomach or people like me with digestive issues? One of the things that I want, I'm going to type it in. And let me see if I have my purse here so I can show you. I do. These are not the cheapest, but when I tell you they are almost like magic, they are called curing pills. And you'll see, and you can get them like on Amazon, or maybe you have a natural food store around you that might have them, or if you have like a Chinese herb shop around you, they might have them. They also come in like those TCM patent bottles, but this right here, you buy them curing pills. You could drink water from a mud puddle in Mexico and get sick and drink and then take a packet of these. I need to stop using that example as Mexico because it's a really, really nice place. But like you could, you know what I mean, accidentally drink some gray water or get food poisoning, right? Any digestive upset. These curing pills are awesome. What else? Ginger. Ashley, a good ginger tincture, even ginger powder or ginger as a tea. Or like Kelly said, like that horse mint, that works great for digestive upset. Chamomile works really well. And Ashley, like you make a tea with a lot of chamomile and some ginger in there. It's fantastic. It's almost immediate. Um, and I know you said like travel, so a ginger tincture, a fennel tincture. Sydney said motion sickness and headaches. Again, chamomile and ginger. I'm telling you guys, I think that we sometimes, as like a society, don't recognize how powerful and potent these quote unquote simple herbs like chamomile and ginger are. But even back in the day when herbalism was under attack and it was illegal to practice it, chamomile and ginger were not blacklisted. They were still allowed to be here. Ginger has been used in almost every culture around the world for thousands of years. There's a reason for that because it's such powerful medicine. So chamomile and ginger would work great for motion sickness and headaches. Also for headaches, like if you can go to any grocery store and get thyme, the herb, and you can do herbal steams whenever you get to where you're going or make a tea out of it, but the steams would be really great for the headaches. Kelly said Smilax vine tips are abundant this time of year too for more wild edibles. You guys, Smilax, they call it like the Florida asparagus, but I'm sure it's not just in Florida, right? Is that another kind of East Coast plant? Yeah. Um, and it grows as a vine. And look this up, you guys. He wrote it in there, Smilax. Type in Florida asparagus so you can see this plant because there are different varieties, but Kelly, are they all edible? Yeah. And you'll see when the tip is ready, it looks kind of like well, you'll see when you look up the picture, and how you'll know it's ready to eat is you'll kind of just slide your hand and it'll pop right off. And you can eat it like asparagus. You can eat it raw. You can saute it. Southeasty said, yep. Daniela said, I grew up with my mom making big pots of chamomile for any time my dad got sick. He never misses work. Yeah, chamomile is one of the most underestimated herbs that there is. And again, you don't want a little teaspoon. You want a nice strong cup. I can't think of much that chamomile and ginger can't help. All right, everybody. Any more questions before we finish up here? Anything you want to add? Any favorite herbs? What do you guys have? I always have, so like I said, for myself, I always have the cayenne. I don't work with, like, I haven't consumed kava in probably 2 years, but I have a tincture of it for you never know. My Warrior of the Woods tincture, I always have curing pills. Now I'm keeping them in my purse to give to people. There's been a lot of digestive stuff going on lately. Um, Chamomile and ginger, magnesium chloride. I will spare everybody my soapbox right now, but you know how much I love magnesium chloride. And then, yeah, this was great, you guys. And again, just remember, this is just to get the conversation rolling. With the vision I have, I would love for all of us to get together and come up with like plans, right? Know where everybody is, have a way to communicate with people. And, might be getting a little radical here, but I would like new systems to take place of the systems we have right now. And, in order to do that, these systems might have to come down and there might be this little waiting period, and who knows, maybe I'm just the crazy lady, between those systems coming down and the new ones coming up. But the more work we put in right now to build the foundation of those new systems, the less chaos there'll be in between. So I don't know about you guys, but I want the new world, the new systems, the new ways of being. So let's start building it now instead of waiting for it to come or happen to us. Let's see. Kelly said, is there activated charcoal in the curing pills? You know what? If you wait 1 second, I'll get the box. There's no activated charcoal. It's all well, before I say that, hold on. Trista, if you're still in here, I almost called you to tell me where they were. All right, so it's got Poria Cocos, which is Fu Ling. And remember, these are all Chinese herbs. All right, Yi Yi Ren, Guangho Shang, Hao Po, Baiji, Massa Fermenta, which is wheat bran, wheat flour, wormwood, polygonum, hydropiper, exanthium, prunus arminiaceae seed, Shin-Q, and then a whole lot more. No charcoal yet, though. Atractylodes, Kangju, Italica fruit, Trichosanthes, chrysanthemum, citrus reticulata peel, so just citrus peel, Gastrodia, Lata rhizome, Tianma, Mentha haplocalyx herb, bohi. Let's see. Oh, it's activated carbon. Yeah, and the other ingredients. Activated carbon. They do have like a China wax around the tea pills. Um, they say one packet 3 times daily, but when I tell you, it just takes one for me. So that activated carbon, that's activated charcoal, right? Yeah. And so here's the box. I just passed them out to people. I've seen these do really amazing things. So also anybody who like travels to other countries, just have some for you. Sure. And there are some other things in the other ingredients like maltose that I'm not a big fan of. But again, if you get hardcore gnarly food poisoning, one packet of these will do you more good than harm.
Probably good to travel with, like you said.
Yeah, I travel everywhere with them. All right, you guys, this was a great session. I know it was kind of all over the place and free flow, but like I said, if you guys are interested and you want a real deal structured class that we provide materials, resources, documents, all the things, let me know. We are open to doing that, but I am going to ask for an energy exchange for that, but we will do it. In the meantime, like Kelly had mentioned, if you're local, there's that Folk Farms in
Yeah.
Gainesville. Yep, they do in person. My favorite teachers in this whole world are Katya and Rin at Commonwealth Herbalism. I would say at least 50% of what I know comes from them. Sam Kaufman with the Herbal Medics Academy, HMA. They're great. And what I like about Sam Kaufman and Katya and Rin is the video platforms. Like you can watch everything that they're doing and see. And even when they're teaching, they're right there. So I like that. It's not you just reading a bunch of stuff. Um, let's see. Thank you, Daniela. Thank you, Trista. I'm receiving all of your love, Daniela. I love you, love you, love you. She's gone, but I love her. I'm so glad to see Sydney's in here, Tina. You guys rock. So reach out. Kelly gave his information. He is a fountain of knowledge and he loves to share it. If you have any questions for him, for me, just reach out, ask. What are some things that you think we could have touched on in this class? I mean, I'm not going to speak for Dwayne, but I'm pretty confident he'd be open and doing this. I think we should do this every 3 to 6 months. Just get on here and have the conversations, share everybody's different perspectives. Um, so yeah, if there are things you think we could have touched on that we didn't, let me know. And that's it. I love you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Tina. I
you.
love you.
Good seeing you.
Good to see you.
Thanks,
All right.
Cameron.
Thanks, Kelly. Bye, everybody.
Thank
Yeah.
you.